Hi, everybody. Dave Clark from InspectCheck-net. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of foundation issues. So I'm not going to do a full foundation inspection. We'll have some other videos coming up detailing that, and there's already probably some already out there. I want to talk about two repairs. And if you look at the start of this video, it says, is it repaired? And I think that's important because even though we see foundation repairs, is it done right? And is that something a home inspector should be getting into? So let's just take a look at it. I love doing it like the scenario. So we walk down into the basement. Our client is with us. I want to share my screen with you. And let's see. I'm gonna go right over here. And we're going to walk down the basement, and here's what we see. There you go. So we walk in. We see a block wall, and we can clearly see that that wall is bowed, right? You can see the bow right here. Okay, I mean, I'm exaggerating it, but it's definitely bowed. By the way, I put my level on everything, even if I see it's bowed, because I want to see how far that bow is, or I'll put a plumb bob from here to the floor to see how far it moved. Sorry for that squiggly line. How far the wall has moved over that spot. And so there's definitely some movement in this wall. It's still not plumb. This wall, believe it or not, is very close to plumb. If it wasn't for all this going on, we would really put it in the satisfactory column. But anyway, so we walk down the basement, the client sees this. They may not even know what they're looking at. They may say, oh, great, reinforcements. Somebody put reinforcements in there. And actually they did. But what we have here is obviously earth anchors that were put in. And the earth anchor detail is pretty simple. And I could just really draw it for you here. If this was the wall, this is our wall. What you're seeing, this plate would be here. And then there's a rod that goes out into the soil. And then there's another plate here. And you see this bolt right here. They tighten that bolt. They excavate behind the foundation, of course. They tighten that bolt, and that pulls the wall plumb or as close to plumb as they can get it. Okay, so a couple of things. When I want to talk about the inspection of the wall first, and then how to report on it. We're going to look at just a couple different scenarios too as we go forward. So the inspection of the wall, in my mind, is no different than any other foundation. I'm going to put a level everywhere. I'm going to see if that wall is plumb. I'm going to look for separation. I'm going to look at cracks. We see we have horizontal cracks. We know that that's a problem. That's the beginning of a problem. In this case, it was already the end of a problem. Step crack here. Step cracks all over the place. Another horizontal crack. Shear crack going right through the block. Right, cracks here right by, right over the top. These blocks are probably sitting right on the footer if it has one. Some houses don't have it. The first block is actually sitting right on mud. You know, so we're going to look at all those things. So in my report, I know some inspectors say, well, it's been repaired, so we don't need to put all that down. I completely disagree with that. Right, forget the repair right now. Forget it. Go in and do the inspection, and I'm going to put right here movement noted on right wall. How much? Well, you know, over this distance, whatever size level you have, you know, over 8 feet, you know, 2.5 inches of movement noted on the wall. A front wall, horizontal cracks noted, step cracks noted, you know, and you think to yourself, when this earth anchor is installed and that wall is pulled, you know, why wasn't all this remortared and tightened up? And the answer is it probably was. And so maybe there's continuing to be movement. Can you see movement after these are in there? Absolutely. I've seen walls crumble with these in place. So that's not to say that this is for sure the answer, but hopefully it did what it was supposed to do. A couple of things that give me pause, and that's one of them. All the cracks that appeared, you wouldn't think a contractor would walk away after they pulled this wall as plumb as they could get it and not tuck point those areas and patch them. The other thing that bothers me is right here. Look at all that moisture coming in. So we know that horizontal pressure on that wall, lateral force, is caused from geostatic and or hydrostatic pressure, so soil and or water pressure. So the most important thing, besides fixing the wall, I guess that's the most important thing, but second to that is to find out why that's happening. In other words, are there drain tiles? Interior, exterior. Obviously there's a sump pump here now, but sometimes sump pumps are just a hole in the floor with no actual drain tile going to them. So this bothers me a lot because I'm thinking we still have water coming in. there's still pressure behind that wall. So why wasn't that taken care of? If this wall was excavated on the outside like it's supposed to be, that shouldn't be the case. All right. So those are my things. So look, when I do this inspection, I'm not even taking these into account yet. I'm still going to note moisture noted in the corner or wherever else. You know, sump pump with or without drain tiles. The same inspection. We're not going to go through that whole inspection because you already know it. We'll look at it on the report, how I would report just this. But we're going to put down horizontal cracks noted, step cracks noted, okay? Bow noted in the right wall, how many inches? We're still going to put that down, not even addressing the earth anchors, okay? So let me show you something else real quick here. I want to bring you to, mark that one all up. So now we go down this basement. So there's one. Here's another scenario. We walk down, make it a little bigger for you, but I don't think it needs to be. We walk down this basement. It looks cleaner. It looks like there's really no moisture. It looks like it was freshly painted, maybe, I don't know. But we've got I-beams, steel I-beams going from top to bottom. And if you look closely, and I'll show you a closer detail. I don't know if I have it closer. You could definitely see that this wall still has a bow, and you could see the amount of mortar that's there, and then the amount of mortar that's there. And there's practically none right here, right? So the wall definitely still has a little bit of a bow to it. How much? It was very slight, okay? This wall actually had a built-in pilaster when the house was originally built. And then they added, these are really buttresses, right? A pilaster is installed when the house is built, a buttress is put on after the fact. And look, I'm not a fan of these, to be perfectly honest with you. I've seen foundations fail with them in place. Again, the detail has to be there. In other words, what did the engineer say? These have to be buried a certain distance in the concrete. This support over, there has to be a support over the top. Most engineers' reports that I've seen, and I'm not an engineer, it goes over 4 joists if it's in this section. If it's in this section, it also goes over 4 joists, but it would just come back over those 4 joists. I've seen some say 3. I think it might depend on where this lands in the structure, but at least 3, I would say, and 4 is the plans that I've seen. Again, I don't draw plans because I'm not that. All right, but look, same thing here. We're going to inspect this foundation like those steel I-beams aren't even there. Okay, it's block wall. I don't see any cracks. There was probably a horizontal crack, and I might make a note, you know, horizontal crack noted. However, the area has been repaired or tuck pointed, whatever you want to put it. But I'm still putting my level against this wall, and I'm still going to note what type of movement. My plumb bob comes down, and there's this much movement on that wall. I'm still going to note that, okay? Because it's still there. You can't just say, oh, there's no movement on the wall because they fixed it. And there's a lot of reasons why you can't do that, but the 2 most important reasons are it's still there, and you still have to report what you see, and 2, was it fixed properly? We don't know that, right? And many of us are not qualified to say that and to draw plans. If you are, great, then go for it. But if you're not, I'll tell you what you should do or what you could do. All right, so we're going to report this the same way. No evidence of moisture. If there's a sump pump, drain tiles, maybe they were installed. It looks to me like this repair is cleaner than the one before, although I think personally the earth anchors are stronger. I'm just not sure how well that contractor did installing them. All right, so we're still doing the exact same report. We haven't even mentioned the fact that repairs were done. All right, now I want to show you, I just want to give you a little closer detail of that, of how that is done. So first we'll look up top. And we can see a close-up if you want of the earth anchor. That's what it looks like. And there's the bolt that you would use to tighten that down. And you do that over a course of time. So they probably do the lion's share right away. Let's talk about those steel I-beams. And you can see that this is bolted. This is tagged over the top of it, but this is also tagged over the top of it. And it looks like it goes through at least, you know, we got a double there. So at least 3 or 4 over the top. So at first look, it's okay. But again, what did the engineer call for? A 2x8, a 2x6, a 2x10, a 2x12? I don't know. You know, I'm not qualified to say if that was done right, but it's very important that this spans, like I said, every detail, every repair order I've looked at, or engineering plans, I should say, it's at least 3. In this case, it would probably be 3 because it falls right over one. But if it fell here, a lot of times they want 2 on this side and 2 on that side. That seems to be the ones I see. And please feel free to share what you've seen out there. I want to just show you this, a real close-up. Okay, so here is a steel I-beam going to a different house altogether. Let me get this. I'll go with black so you can see it better. And you can see the distance. This is almost touching right here. Right, that's not a great color. I'm gonna go yellow. This is almost touching right there. Okay. And then you can see there's a gap way down here as we get in there, and that gap is, I don't know, it looks to be like maybe 1.5 inches or so. And that's about the distance that the wall has moved in. A couple of things that's important. This is a nice heavy steel I-beam. I like it. It's obviously into the concrete. It's mortared. It shouldn't be just not mortared. Mortar should be in there. Okay. The other thing I love is they put what I call a dry track, whatever you want to call it, a drainage track. So any water that comes in will get behind this. And usually, and you can see the floor has been dug up. Again, we got to take a look inside the sump pump, and hopefully they ran it all the way around. There's drain tile here. So to me, that's just as important as this repair, that they put drain tile on the outside or inside, or both, even better. And they put this dry track, so someone dug it up. We wouldn't be able to get that under the floor without doing that. And so that makes me happier, okay, for lack of a better word. I think that's about all I wanted to tell you. So the most important thing is that you make that inspection, you do the inspection exactly the way you would do it without the repairs in place, okay? So I'm gonna just come over here for a second. Okay, so you do the inspection just like you normally would. And then you're gonna say to your client, however, there's a repair done. And we're just gonna look at these two scenarios. So we had earth anchors put in, and explain to them how it's supposed to be done. Because do we know that? Do we know that they're out in the grass, the distance they're supposed to be? Or no, the answer is we don't know that. So this is what they do. This is why they were installed. I think that's important. They weren't installed because they were bored. You know, the homeowner was bored and figured, you know, what are we going to do today? I know, let's spend $10,000 to $12,000, $30,000 or so and put in some earth anchors. Okay, they didn't do that. They did that because their foundation was beginning to fail. And so they called a contractor in with an engineer, and this is what they did. Same thing with the steel I-beams, right? They called somebody and said, hey, we've got a problem. My walls are bowing in. So what do? Can I rebuild the walls? And look, I know it's not my money. If it were my money, you know, it's a different story, right? The best way to repair these is interior, exterior drainage, rebuild the walls. That's the best way. Also going to be the most expensive and most intrusive. These methods will work, but your client has to understand there was a problem. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I love cars, and it's like a car, like buying a car that has a salvage title, right? It looks beautiful, it's great, and it probably could run for you forever. But it's fair to note that there was a significant issue, and it's been repaired properly. Okay, and I think that's very important. We can't just go in and say, oh, you got earth anchors, oh, you got the steel I-beams, the wall's level, you're all set. I think that's a bad way to do it. You're still going to inspect the wall the same way. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. I want to bring up the report. Okay, and we're not going to go through the whole foundation or structure, but we'll head over to structure with the report right now. And we're not going to insert pictures and all that. And so we're going to just put down what it was. You know, in this case, it was block, right? And we'll mark that complete. Then we're going to come down. The style in this case was a full perimeter. And how did we get there? We entered it. So we got a good look at it. Now look, this is where, you know, I'm probably going to differ from some other home inspectors. So satisfactory, which means that everything's fine, just some minor shrinkage cracks. Were there shrinkage cracks there? No, I don't think so, right? Some minor or angle cracks. And I think we're going to head down here because we want them to understand that something was going on. Okay, so we look at buckling, bow, shifting, movement, internal. Again, I'm not done, so hold on, right? We definitely see some large angled cracks or step cracks. Internal, and we see some horizontal cracking. Okay, and our client is going to be advised, and we can see what it says. You know, when a wall begins to bow, horizontal cracks may appear. Even small horizontal cracks may indicate a serious structural problem if not addressed, and the wall continues to bow. The integrity. So what we're going to say is it was addressed, right? The integrity of the foundation may be compromised. Recommend immediate evaluation by a structural engineer. So I'm going to say this is what happened. These are the problems you have, and they did contract a structural engineer. Okay, so we're going to note that, but I want to go back here, right here to the internal. This is in my point one of the best things you could do for your client. So we're going to put repairs. Areas of foundation walls components have been patched, reinforced, or repaired. And I'm going to go right here. I'm going to put earth anchors. I'm just going to make it like it's one foundation, you know. Well, I could say and or just for the sake of this video. And or steel I-beam. Oops. Okay. Steel I-beams, noted. All right, so either one, whatever one. All right, and we're recommending, so our report continues on to say, these areas should be closely monitored for movement, shifting, cracking, or moisture penetration. Unfortunately, we already had moisture penetration. If any of those conditions are noticed, structural engineer should evaluate. This is the most important part. So we've already evaluated it. We've already told them the wall has got this much movement, so we were telling them to continue to monitor that. Any warranty information should be secured from the current property owners. Okay, I think that is probably the most important thing. What type of warranty information do you have? If they tell you we have, if they tell my client we have no warranty information, okay, to me that's a red flag. Excuse me. Who did the work? Is it warranted? Do you have plans for that work? So any warranty information, all that would be included in there. All right, and we would probably just hit real quick some moisture noted, considerable smalling. I would think that's probably where we would put that smalling there, and I would put front right corner. So you see previous section done. Mark section complete. So what I've told my client, is what I actually viewed, what I actually saw in place as far as the condition of the wall and the drainage and the cracks, what I saw. And then I said, but by the way, this happened, because this happened, they did do some type of remediation. Is it done right? Is it done right? Is it not done right? Where's the warranty information? Where are the plans? And I think that's critical. In the second scenario with the steel I-beams, again, I'm not a huge fan of them, but that wall had very little movement on it, and they put the beams all the way around. It's clean. There was no moisture coming in. The movement was minimal. I'm not too concerned about it, to be honest with you, but I would be concerned if they said, well, I don't know, the neighbor did it, or my Uncle Joe did it, and I don't know, I don't have anything. So do I know they used the right size beam? Do I know that they went deep enough? That, are they spaced on center, what that engineer called for? That would put my client's mind at ease. So I could say, look, it was done exactly according to plan, and they're giving you a lifetime warranty. There are companies that do that. I mean, there's companies right around here. They will do either earth anchors, I-beams, helical piers, whatever it is that they do. They will give you a lifetime warranty on that. That's transferable for, like, I don't know, I think there's a transfer fee or something, or some paperwork you have to do. Well worth the money. So that could put your client's mind at ease, saying, well, it was done right. The first scenario, a little concerned about that with the earth anchors. Why are those cracks there? Were they repaired, and did they reappear after the fact? Sure seems that way. Why is there moisture coming in? Did they do drainage? All the plans will tell that, the permits, all that. I'm going to tell them, pull everything they can. Put their mind at ease. This is a major issue. If there's a problem with that foundation, you could be looking at tens of thousands of dollars in a house that you may not even be able to sell. So it's very important. And I see home inspectors say, oh, the walls, and I've seen those earth anchors pull a wall just about totally plumb and say, well, the wall's plumb now, they're all set. But how do you know that? How do you know they're going to hold? You don't know that. And so I think, doing what I said is very important. It's the best thing you do for your client. You wouldn't buy a house by just going in there saying, let's hope for the best. You'd want to know it was done properly. You want to know it was done by a professional. The plans were drawn by a professional, and there's some type of warranty to back that work. I think that's very important. So I didn't want to take up too much time. More foundation videos here, but I just wanted to talk about those two repairs. So is it fixed right? I think that's something that we could have a great discussion about as going forward. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to our channel so you'll be the first one to find out when these videos come out. and I just like sharing them with you. Over the last 30 years, I've got thousands of videos and pictures from inspections and stories. I could talk all day, but subscribe, and you can also go to homeinspectortrainingonline.com, and there'll be some more links there to give you some more videos. So have a great day, and see you next time.